Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for another WWE review. I know we've been doing a lot of AEW stuff lately, but finally we had another WWE pay-per-view. And
If
tonight,
only there was more.
what?
If only there was more.
Well, there's going to be another one this month on the 27th.
Yeah, I know, but we have to go through so much more AEW before that, so...
Yeah. But tonight we watched WWE Backlash 2023. So they officially changed it back to Backlash this year because last couple years it was WrestleMania Backlash for some stupid reason, and now they changed it back to Backlash. Um, but however, this was a special Backlash because they promoted it as a very big show because it took place in Puerto Rico. So when I tell you this show had a massive fucking crowd, like it was like some shit you would see at like the Royal Rumble or something. Like it was a massive
Yeah,
crowd, bro. And
fucking... just giant.
like the arena was packed, bro. Like from the ringside all the way to the fucking ceiling, it was packed with fucking just a sea of people, bro. It was insane. And they were crazy throughout this whole show. Um, so I didn't watch the kickoff. I don't know. So I don't know if anything happened on the kickoff, but fucking the show opened up. Uh, so I'm gonna talk about most of these. Austin didn't start watching until uh, the last two
Like,
matches. So
yeah, it was like the end of the fucking Bad Bunny match where I started watching.
yeah. So the show kicked off with the Raw Women's Title match, which was Bianca Belair defending against Io Sky of Damage Control, and um, so interestingly enough, the crowd was very, very behind Io Sky here, and they were booing the shit out of Bianca Belair. No one wanted
Not
Bianca to
surprising.
win this match. She won this match, but no one wanted her to win this match. Um,
Here's the thing with Bianca, like, she was fine a couple years back, WrestleMania 37, and
mhm.
maybe to an extent when it came to WrestleMania 38, but, like, nobody gives a flying fuck anymore. Like genuinely, I can't. She's turning in. I feel like she's turning into the female equivalent to 2015 Roman.
Well,
I feel.
interestingly enough, Austin, she tweeted after Backlash saying that today she officially tied Becky Lynch's record for the longest reigning women's champion. So now she's officially going to be the longest reigning Raw Women's Champion in history.
Well, pushing her down their throats. Nice.
Um, so the match itself was a pretty good women's match. Fucking, it kind of felt like, honestly, like Io being by herself here and getting the championship match. It kind of felt like the days when she was in NXT and she was NXT Women's Champion. Like she finally felt like on that next level again, and she has not felt like that for a while, and that's mainly due to the fact of how they've been booking Damage Control. Which
Yeah.
we had more booking with that here tonight, but so the match itself was very good. They both work well together. Except for one spot that was I'm not sure what happened, if it was a miscommunication or what, but Bianca went to do this move and she like it almost seemed like she went to like slam Io down, and Io like legitimately almost landed right on her fucking neck. Thankfully she didn't, but she came very close to landing straight on her neck, and so that was scary. Um, I pretty much at this point Bianca's matches are starting to become predictable. The reason I say this is because how this match went, how her match with Asuka at WrestleMania went, how her many matches with fucking Becky Lynch went, with how a lot of her matches have went recently. It's kind of the same thing with Roman. Roman not as much, but with Bianca, it's like you know once she hits the KOD in the match, it's over. Like, and they always
Yeah,
save the KOD for the end of the match too, and she always just hits one and it's over. And they do that
it's like
every time
too
now.
protected. It's like one of the most protected moves. Like besides the end of days, like that's the only other like protected move that I've seen. It's that
Yeah.
protected.
So there was one spot where uh, Bianca was on the outside, and Io did this beautiful moonsault. Um, I don't care what people say about Charlotte. Io's moonsault is far better than Charlotte's, especially when Charlotte would do that fucking terrible looking corkscrew moonsault off the top rope. Um, Io's is
Yeah,
just far better. Um, and it was just a very competitive women's match. A couple close calls, and then there came the point in the match where Bianca was trying to go for the KOD and Io kept countering it. And then, of course, here comes Damage Control. Bailey and Dakota Kai come running down, and fucking. The reason I'm bringing up what Bailey was fucking wearing was because my Twitter timeline was filled with nothing but fucking screen caps and videos of what Bailey was wearing. And so basically she was wearing like this like just small like tank top, and then she had like these pants that were like super like tight and had a lot of holes in them for some reason, and people were freaking the fuck out, bro. Like I've seen people, they're like, "Oh, can this be Bailey's wrestling gear? Can Bailey wear this every week?" I was like, "God damn." Like I'm not gonna lie, she looked fucking good, but um so Damage Control comes out, and they try to distract Bianca, and Dakota sneak attacks Bianca with a kick, and then fucking Io has Bianca down. She's going on the top rope to go for her moonsault, and Bailey grabs Bianca's ponytail so she can't move, and then the referee sees Bailey grabbing the ponytail, and the referee and Io are both like talking to Bailey, and so Bailey's pretty much causing a distraction, and Io goes for the moonsault. Bianca moves, picks her up, KOD 1 2 3. Bianca retains. So technically, Bailey just screwed Io out of this match, and so I'm beginning to think that they're planting the seeds for a Damage Control breakup or something, or implosion, however it's gonna go. But they're planting the seeds for it. I can definitely see it. Um,
which kind of sucks honestly, because it could have like been something a lot more.
yeah. I mean, you all know, if you've watched our reviews since SummerSlam last year. If you watched our SummerSlam review, you saw how fucking hype I was when they formed this group, and now all this time later, almost a year later, like in like 2 3 months, it's gonna be a year since that, which is crazy to think about. But um, it's crazy. A year later, they haven't really done much besides Io and Dakota have been 2 time women's tag team champions, and Bailey hasn't done jack shit but lose all the time. So I don't know what their plan is going to be here, but I guess we'll find out, because and we're going to do a separate video on this as well, because they did the official draft for 2023, so we're going to do a separate video on covering the draft. But Damage Control is going to be on SmackDown now, so I guess you have to watch SmackDown to see what's going to happen. But yeah, that was the opening match. The crowd, for most of the match, was chanting "Let's go Io." They were chanting "Io Sky." Every time Bianca would do something, they would boo the shit out of Bianca. So literally nobody wanted Bianca to win this match. But whatever, fucking, they're just gonna keep pushing her and pushing her for some reason. Like, don't get me wrong, Bianca is a great wrestler. I'm not taking anything away from her talent or her in-ring ability. She's phenomenal in the ring. It's just my problem is she's had the title for over a year now, and now she's broken Becky Lynch's title reign. So it's like, how much longer does she need to be champion? Because when you just have her defeating everybody in the division, you're not elevating anyone else in the division. And it's kind of a problem because their women's division, like, isn't super duper great. Like, it's good, but they just don't have a lot of people that could really go to that next level. At least they don't seem like they want to put them to that next level. I don't know why, but and then that's a whole nother thing. All I want to say is that it's just confusing because they had the women's tag division, so that's taking away women that could be challenging for these women's titles, which that's why I've said for years, and I still say it, that they should completely abolish the women's tag team titles. Though they have done better with them in the past year than they were the past couple years, but even still, it's still taking away from their women's division, and I feel it's harming it rather than helping it. But nevertheless, moving on to the second match, we saw a promo with Bad Bunny where he was trying to get his head in the game for the match. We see fucking Savio Vega. Now, if you don't know who Savio Vega is, he's somewhat of a legend, I guess. I don't know that much about him, but he's a Puerto Rican wrestler. First time I ever saw who he was when he was randomly in the Stone Cold showcase in 2K16. That's the first time I ever heard of Savio Vega. But yeah, so he just like wishes him good luck pretty much. Then we get the second match of the night. The most random match that they booked on this card, which was Seth freaking Rollins. I keep forgetting they changed his name officially. Versus Omas. Now, why did this match happen? I don't know. The only sort of build that they did for this match was they had a promo of MVP saying, "Oh, Seth, you've done everything there is to do in this business, but you haven't faced a Nigerian giant." And that's it. That's literally the build for this match. So, like, there was really no point for this match to happen, but it happened.
I feel like they just made Seth and Omas on the fucking card.
Yeah, the match itself wasn't bad. It was actually a pretty decent match. Um, Omas fucking was beating the fuck out of Seth Rollins in the beginning, though. This man was throwing him all over the place. It looked fucking impressive. And then MVP tried to get involved, and Seth kept having to use his speed and shit to get the upper hand on Omas. He kept hitting him with knees, and then one spot he fucking nailed Omas with a curb stomp, and fucking then he hit him. He knocked MVP down, and then hit Omas with a second curb stomp, and then Omas kicked out. And this is the funniest part. So Seth goes for a third curb stomp, and he like stomps on Omas's neck, but Omas doesn't fucking move. And like he's trying to like push down, but Omas is just not moving. And Omas just like cocks his head up at Seth Rollins and just gives him this evil fucking look, and it was fucking hilarious. And then Omas was fucking wrecking his shit. But the way the match ended was Seth, he also hit a beautiful frog splash, which Omas kicked out of at one. But the way the match ended was Seth kept kneeing Omos in the head, and he kept him on his knees, and Seth went to the top rope, and he jumped off the top rope and did a top rope curb stomp to Omas and pinned him 1, 2, 3. Seth Rollins defeats Omas, and I can't remember the last time Omas won on a pay-per-view. honestly, because he lost to
Uh,
Seth, he lost to Brock at Mania, he lost to Braun at fucking Crown Jewel, he got eliminated in the Royal Rumble. Fucking, I don't remember the last time Omas won a match on the pay-per-view. They need to start giving Omas wins. Second of all,
yeah.
they need to give Omas his old theme back too, because his new theme sucks.
Third of all, they could really give him a monster title reign. Like if, I like Austin Theory as U.S. champion, but if they gave like Omos the U.S. title and had him run with it for a while, that would be a great reign. I feel.
Yeah,
But they keep making him lose. Damn it.
yeah. I'm really curious what they're gonna do because they also officially announced they showed the new world title. It was sitting ringside, and they announced that on Raw there's gonna be a tournament, and on SmackDown there's gonna be a tournament, and then the winners of those two tournaments are gonna face each other at Night of Champions on the 27th, which is going to be in Saudi Arabia. I didn't know that until today. And those two are going to face each other at Night of Champions, and the winner of that match will become the new World Heavyweight Champion. So I'm curious, like, who's going to be in this fucking tournament. Like, because I feel like they're going to have Seth and Cody be in it for sure. I don't see why they wouldn't have both of them be in it. And then I don't know who else is gonna be in it. And second of all, I don't understand why they're including SmackDown superstars in this because it's supposed to be exclusively a Raw title. So I don't really know why they're doing a SmackDown tournament, but
I
well,
I
I don't
don't
know.
know, but I do know people are saying like, oh well, they could just trade them to Raw if they win or whatever. And I was like, yeah, that could work, but then like, what was the point of the draft? Like,
Yeah, and it's also a thing with like Bianca retaining. Like her reign isn't gonna last though, because you got to think now that she's gonna be on SmackDown and Rhea is gonna be on Raw. Aren't they gonna have to swap the titles?
yeah, but knowing them, they're just gonna count that as still the same reign.
I guess so, yeah. But I don't know. Excuse me. So after that match, we had the triple threat match of Austin Theory defending the U.S. title against both Bobby Lashley and Bronson Reed. Bobby Lashley looked like a monster in this match. Uh, Bronson Reed just had like a lot of meat on him, and fucking Austin Theory just played the cowardly heel, and pretty much most of the match was Bronson Reed and Bobby Lashley beating each other up. And then when Austin Theory would get in the ring, they would both fucking beat up Austin Theory. And uh, pretty much the way the match ended was Bobby Lashley hit a nasty looking spear on Bronson Reed, because apparently the spear is Bobby Lashley's finisher now. So he hit a nasty spear on Bronson Reed, and then Austin Theory got in the ring and threw Bobby Lashley out, and he stole the pin. 1, 2, 3. Austin Theory retained the U.S. title. So now I don't know what's next for Austin Theory after this,
I
but
do not know.
Austin Theory gets the W. Um, but yeah, so then after that, we move to the last women's match of the night. There was only two, and this one was the Judgment Day's Rhea Ripley, the SmackDown Women's Champion, versus the LWO's Zelina Vega. And Zelina got a massive reaction, obviously, because it's Puerto Rico. And she was wearing like this like Puerto Rico themed gear, and she had like blue in her hair and shit. It was a very interesting look. Um, and Rhea Ripley was wearing this white gear. Apparently, it was supposed to be like a reference to like fucking Frieza from Dragon Ball, I think.
Hmm.
Um, and so Zelina's family was also sitting at ringside, which the outcome of this match, kinda, but so pretty much the match was Rhea Ripley dominating Zelina, and Zelina was trying to fight back, but and the crowd was like so behind Zelina. Um, but in the end, Rhea Ripley. The match was not very long. This was probably the shortest match on the show. Rhea Ripley hit Zelina with a nasty looking riptide. 1, 2, 3. She retains, and Rhea Ripley walks off, and then we see Zelina Vega sitting there in the ring, and she stands up, and the crowd is giving her a standing ovation, and this crowd was fucking loud, bro. Like, they were giving her one hell of a standing ovation, and Zelina Vega got all emotional and started crying. It was a very wholesome moment, and
Yeah.
I'm sure that's something that Zelina Vega is never gonna forget. But yeah, it was a very, very wholesome moment. The crowd gives her a standing ovation, and then she hugs her family and whatever, and then walks backstage. And then after that, we moved to what they were calling the double main event, even though this wasn't the main event. But this was the best fucking match of the night. This match was fucking awesome, and I can't believe I'm saying that, because if you know me, you know how I feel about Bad Bunny ever since, and Austin, you know this. This goes
Yeah.
way back to 2021 when we seen Bad Bunny at the fucking Royal Rumble for the first time. When I first found out who the fuck this man was, and I fucking hated him. Austin knows full well how much I hated this man, how much I despised Bad Bunny back then. And then when he had his match at WrestleMania, I did not like him. And then he was gone for a while until the 2022 Royal Rumble, where he came back, and I was just like, why? And then he's been gone ever since then. He came back just recently for WrestleMania. We talked about him on the Mania review. And they've been building this
Yep.
feud with him and Damian Priest. And so originally, Bad Bunny was supposed to be the host of Backlash, but he ended up saying, fuck that, Damian Priest, I'm gonna kick your ass. So this was what they were dubbing a San Juan street fight between Bad Bunny and Damian Priest. And so I'm thinking this is gonna be a typical Bad Bunny shit where, oh, this guy's just a rapper and he comes out fucking and has like a shit match or whatever. That's what I was thinking. I thought it was just gonna be the same Bad Bunny that I seen before that I just didn't care much about. So Damian Priest comes out to his own theme song, which I was really hoping to hear the Judgment Day's theme song, because I fucking love their theme song. It's so sick.
Yeah.
But fucking Damian Priest was wearing like this like white gear. It's like a Puerto Rico themed gear. And then Bad Bunny comes out to a new theme song. It's one of his fucking rap songs, and the whole fucking crowd was rapping this song. They knew every lyric. Fucking Bad Bunny had a lot of pyro. They really were marketing this show around Bad Bunny heavily. Um, so Bad Bunny just had on this like green attire, and so I'm sitting here thinking, Bad Bunny also grabbed like this shopping cart full of weapons on some like old school ECW fucking type shit, and honestly like some New Jack type shit when New Jack used to do that, and I was thinking, oh god, this is gonna probably be bad, isn't it? And they start the match, and Damian Priest is being all dominant, and it's like, oh, Bad Bunny's a rapper and artist and all this, and he's not that much of a wrestler. Like Damian Priest surely is gonna kick his ass, but Bad Bunny was fighting back, and he was actually throwing some
Yeah.
good moves, and
From the stuff on Twitter, he was doing pretty good.
yeah, and he had this like special Puerto Rico themed kendo stick that he was using, and when I tell you he was beating the fuck out of Damian Priest with this kendo stick. Like, he was not holding back. I will tell you from my experience, I have been hit with kendo sticks in my time doing backyard wrestling. They fucking hurt so bad. Like, I got hit with a kendo stick full force on my back one time. Oh my fucking god, it stings so bad, bro, and it leaves a fucking mark too. It fucking hurts like a bitch taking those. So props to both of them, because they were taking some nasty kendo stick shots. Bad Bunny was wailing on Damian Priest, and fucking Damian Priest was delivering it right back, because he was wailing on Bad Bunny with the kendo stick as well. And they had fucking chairs involved. Fucking Bad Bunny was hitting Damian Priest with trash can lids. Uh, there was one point in the match where Bad Bunny fucking did a dive to the outside, and fucking then there was like another point where Bad Bunny was like in control of the match, and Damian Priest was like, "Oh fuck this." He starts walking away up the ramp, and then Bad Bunny goes after him with a trash can, and then Damian Priest big boots the trash can into Bad Bunny's face, and then they start brawling into the crowd, and they go to this production area, and they both climb up on top of this production crate, and they're punching each other, and then Damian Priest picks up Bad Bunny and delivers a fucking nasty looking Falcon arrow off the production crate down through like this wooden thing. I don't really know what it was, but they went straight through that thing, and that shit looked brutal. And then after that, the main focus of the match was that Bad Bunny started taking out Damian Priest's knee. So he was doing all these moves on Damian Priest's knee, and he fucking kept smashing Damian Priest's knee into the fucking ring post, and then he fucking hit Damian Priest in the knee with the fucking chair. It looked like it hurt so bad, bro. I don't know how Damian Priest was even walking after that, but he was selling that leg. And he kept trying to like choke slam Bad Bunny, but his leg kept giving out. And fucking just a lot of fucking back and forth. And then Bad Bunny got in control of Damian Priest, and then all of a sudden, here comes the Judgment Day. Dominic Mysterio and Finn Balor come running out, and Dominic was wearing like this all white gear, and Finn Balor was just wearing his same old fucking gear he usually wears, and they start beating up Bad Bunny. And then, you know, I was sitting here thinking, oh, well, obviously the LWO is gonna come out, and so fucking Rey Mysterio comes out, and he's wearing this Batman mask, and he has like some Puerto Rican Nike shoes on. And
Yeah.
take a guess at what happened, Austin, because Rey Mysterio gets in the ring and he gets beat
And
up.
get his ass kicked.
Yep,
Bro,
got his ass kicked.
I can't, like, Ray is such a pussy, man. Like, he gets beat the fuck out of
I
so
know.
much.
I know.
Like, what happened? Like, what happened? Every time, you know, he used to be able to hold his own. Like, it used to be only, like, big guys that would beat the shit out of him. Now it's just, like, somebody could be, like, shorter than him and still beat his ass. Or, like, scrawnier. His son beats his ass. Like,
Yeah.
come on, bro.
Fucking
You're telling me fucking Batista can beat the fuck out of him years ago, and nobody else really can. But you know, fucking now, fast forward to 2023, he gets beat the fuck out of on the daily.
Yep, pretty much.
Jesus.
But that's okay, Austin, because Rey Mysterio is getting beat up, and I'm thinking, oh, well, you know, now the LWO is going to come out, right? No.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, this was so out of nowhere, and when this happened, I fucking almost choked on my food that I was eating, because I was like, what the fuck? So, they're beating up Rey Mysterio, and they're beating up Bad Bunny, And all we hear is this.
I spit in the face of people who don't want to be cool.
Fucking Carlito comes out. The most random. I was never expecting this. Carlito comes out, and the fucking crowd loses their mind, bro. They start going crazy, and Carlito comes out. This man's looking souped up. He's looking fucking jacked as a motherfucker. And Carlito comes out, and he's wearing an LWO shirt. He goes to the ring, and he starts beating up the Judgment Day, and he hits fucking Finn Balor with a nasty looking backstabber. And as if that wasn't enough, the Judgment Day get out of the ring, and they start going up the ramp. And then Savio Vega comes out. And then, as if that wasn't enough, the Judgment Day is surrounded. Then we fucking hear the fucking LWO's theme song. And here comes Santos Escobar, Joaquin Wilde, and Cruz del Toro. And they come out, and fucking on the stage, fucking Finn Balor and Dominic are just getting jumped by like 5 or 6 people. Like, they're it was funny. Fucking Finn Balor is sitting here just getting stomped by Rey Mysterio, Carlito, Santos Escobar, Cruz del Toro, fucking Joaquin Wilde, Savio Vega. They're all just stomping this man down, bro. I was laughing. Like, it was so silly. And then fucking it's down to they take out Finn Balor and Dominic, and then it's down to Bad Bunny and Damian Priest in the ring. Damian Priest tries to go for the choke slam and doesn't get it. Then he tries to go for his kick, doesn't get it, and then Bad Bunny hits him with Austin's favorite wrestling maneuver, the Canadian Destroyer, which apparently they renamed the move, Austin, because I was trying to find it in the game, right? And they changed the name of it. It's not Canadian Destroyer anymore. It's not even Flip Pile Driver, because they changed it to Flip Pile Driver at one point. Now, because Bad Bunny's in the game, apparently the one Bad Bunny does is referred to as the Bunny Destroyer. So that's what that move was called. So he hit the Bunny Destroyer.
That low-key sounds like something off of Playboy.
That's what it says on 2K23, bro. It says Bunny Destroyer, and it's in Bad Bunny's moveset as his finisher. And it's the only Canadian Destroyer I could find.
That sounds like an ad-lib for, like, fucking a Playboy magazine. I'm not even kidding you. Like,
so,
why?
Bad Bunny hits the Bunny Destroyer on Damian Priest. 1, 2, 3. The crowd goes fucking crazy for Bad Bunny winning. Bad Bunny beats Damian Priest. The LWO and Carlito and Savio Vega all come celebrate with Bad Bunny, and the crowd is just going crazy. I was going crazy. It was just a crazy ass fucking time, bro. Like, what a fucking match, bro. I absolutely did not think that this match was going to be anything. I thought this was going to be bad. I didn't really care too much for this, and a lot of other people didn't either. Like, this match was very, very surprising, and the aftermath of this match was I went on Twitter, and now people are saying that they want a Bad Bunny versus Logan Paul match, and people are having all this discussion saying, oh, now that we've had this match, who's the better wrestler slash celebrity, Bad Bunny or Logan Paul? Who's the better wrestler? And I mean, obviously, it's Logan Paul, because he's shown more in the matches that he's had how good of a wrestler he is. But honestly, I will say this right here and right now. If Bad Bunny continues to wrestle for WWE whenever he does, if he continues to put on matches like this, then I have absolutely no problem with seeing Bad Bunny wrestle again. If this is the kind of thing that he's going to deliver, then I absolutely have no problem with Bad Bunny. And Austin, could you, dare I say, I think I'm even starting to like Mr. Bad Bunny now. And now, with that being said, Austin, can you even believe I'm saying that? Just think back to
Not
how
really.
I was in 2021, and now all this time later.
Oh, Jesus, man,
See, and I like when this happens in wrestling when there's someone I don't like or I see something I don't like and then that person improves and does better and
Yeah,
actually makes me enjoy them or like them and be like, hey, like this person's doing better. I'm actually starting to like them now. I like when that happens in wrestling. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen as often as I would like it to, but
yeah, because people don't know how to fucking train Rhonda.
yeah. Man, that Rhonda situation's a whole fucking disaster, man. They fucking just talk about it real quick. They had Rhonda and Shayna win at Mania, right? We talked about it on the review. Apparently, the reason why Rhonda didn't even barely wrestle in that match is because she's injured, but she like demanded to be in a WrestleMania match. And then they have her win that match, right? And her and Shayna are number one contenders. Then the next night, all of a sudden, they're like, "Oh, well, we're gonna have a match to see who the number one contenders are." When they literally just named the number one contenders at WrestleMania, and then they have Liv Morgan and Raquel win, and then they become tag team champions, and then the next week, or not the next week, but now, fucking apparently Damage Control is the number one contenders because Bayley and Dakota beat the women's tag team champions. So I don't fucking understand what they're doing here, and Rhonda and Shayna have just been gone ever since WrestleMania and apparently Rhonda's hurt. So why the fuck would you even give Rhonda and Shayna the win at Mania if you knew that Rhonda was injured? Unless, of course, it wouldn't surprise me if Rhonda demanded that she had to win at WrestleMania or something and fucked over everyone else. That wouldn't surprise me. That's probably what happened, honestly.
Probably.
Maybe that's why that fucking match was just so god awful. Maybe, you know, Rhonda fucking over all the women in that match, like maybe just made all those other women not give a shit. I don't know. And it's not like I'm saying that. Like literally, Liv Morgan has come out and said that she fucking does not like Rhonda anymore. A lot of women in that division have said that they do not like Rhonda. Some of them can't stand Rhonda. Like it's not like we're saying Rhonda is this awful person just out of our opinion. Like it's actual fact. Like people in that division do not like her at all. There's people
Because
that
she's not,
straight up
because
will
she
not
doesn't
work with
care.
her either.
It's because she doesn't care. She does not fucking care. And I hate that I have to reiterate this because there's actual fucking fans that
Hmm.
sit there and say, "Oh, Rhonda's good. I don't know what you're talking about." I'm talking straight to you, Kyle, you fucking neckbeard motherfucker.
Oh my god.
And you're not the fucking only one. See, the thing is with fucking Rhonda, she hasn't trained in fucking years. You can tell she's gotten worse. She fucking sits there and constantly exposes the business that she does not give a flying fuck. And the fact of the matter is, she has this fucking creative control shit because of her fucking contract. I don't know if you know this. She has creative control. They
No, I
gave
didn't know
her
that.
creative control. Yes, I found this out recently.
Oh
Apparently,
god.
she has creative control, and that is why she wins half the fucking matches she fucking does. Because she decides what she wants to do. She fucking decides it, unless somebody like Trips or fucking Vince at the time would override it. She mainly has the say. She has like 75% of the say.
So do you think like her dropping the title to Charlotte, do you think that was one of those instances of like she didn't
Oh,
want to
yes,
lose and they fucking were like, "Well, fuck you,
yes,
you're losing anyway."
yes. Like there's no doubt in my mind. Same with Liv. Except Liv was actually the good one. And then
Yeah.
they just fucked it over.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy because like there's this whole thing I seen like Liv Morgan was saying how like she was when Rhonda first came into WWE, she was like, yeah, I was one of Rhonda's only friends, and I treated her so well, and I helped her with a lot of stuff, and she even said like I was one of the only ones that liked her and tried to be her friend because a lot of people didn't like her, and a lot of people, the reason they didn't like her was because she was coming in from UFC and she was acting like she was the greatest fucking thing in the world and shit, and that fucking rubbed a
Even
lot of people
the
the wrong
locker
way.
room, even the fucking locker room understands. See, in that locker room doesn't like they'll sit there and like anybody. They praise
Hmm.
Nia Jax.
Yeah,
Okay, so you can't tell me that if the locker room fucking hates you, that's terrible.
yeah, and Liv just said like, uh, pretty. I think it might have been her feud with Rhonda that made her not like her because I mean, she didn't go into full detail, but she said that she does not like Rhonda anymore, and that she does not like want to work with her anymore. She doesn't consider Rhonda a friend anymore. Like,
Good,
it's crazy.
good. Rhonda doesn't deserve friends. She doesn't deserve fucking to be in the company. She doesn't deserve anything good in her fucking life.
Yeah.
Fuck
Well,
her.
nevertheless, a little sidetrack there. Rhonda wasn't even on this show, but
Okay.
yeah. So the Bad Bunny and Damian Priest match was the best thing on the show by far. It wasn't nothing on the show was bad. Before anybody like thinks that nothing on this show was bad. None of the matches were bad. The first match had a bad outcome, which I did not like, but aside from that fact, nothing on this show was particularly bad. There was nothing where I was like, "Oh yeah, that's fucking terrible. That's god awful." Like none of that. There was nothing terrible on this show. Like some stuff was a little kinda, but like honestly, overall it was a very good show. Which leads me into the next match, which this is the point where Austin started watching the show.
Yes.
So as I was saying, I had to start a new clip. This is where Austin came in to start watching the show.
Yep.
It was the bloodline of the Usos and Solo Sikoa taking on the team of Matt Riddle and the tag team champions Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Now, I want to point out the bloodline comes out first, right? And you think, it's typical bloodline entrance. Now what a lot of people may have missed is one, Michael Cole and Corey Graves were the commentators, which one, I don't understand why Corey Graves was even there because literally Carmella just announced that she's pregnant, so I don't understand why Corey Graves was even there. But nevertheless, uh when the bloodline makes their entrance, right, before the baby faces come out, they pan the camera to Michael Cole and Corey Graves, and behind them is somebody in a Bigfoot suit that has a sign that says, I do exist. And me and Austin were like, why? How, what? How did this man get let into this arena wearing a fucking Bigfoot costume? Like, surely you're not allowed to just wear that in there, right? Like, I wouldn't imagine. I,
I don't know, dude.
unless they don't care in Puerto Rico, I don't know. But fucking, I, people on Twitter start making these conspiracies. Austin, like I saw one person try to give this conspiracy on how they fucking swear on their fucking soul that the man inside that Sasquatch costume was Bray Wyatt, and they know 100% that that's Bray Wyatt, and he's gonna be doing this new character called the Sasquatch and shit. and they're convinced that it can only be Bray Wyatt. Who else? Someone even said, who else would dress up in a gorilla suit but Bray Wyatt? Like, I don't know where these people are getting this fucking information from. I have no
Bro,
idea what would make
I
them
don't
think a
know.
person in a fucking Sasquatch suit that is nowhere near the size of Bray Wyatt. They think, oh yeah, that's definitely got to be Bray. Why has it got to be Bray? Of anybody you could have said, how, like, why Bray? Do you think Wyatt would go to fucking? You think this man would fly to Puerto Rico and dress up as a Sasquatch just to fucking sit behind the? What? Who with a logical brain in their head would think that, bro?
Conspiracy theorists.
Like, why? And I've seen some people, they're like, oh, well, it's a promotion for this new Bigfoot show that's coming out. I'm like, okay, well, what kind of promotion was it? Because the fucking WWE didn't say anything about it, so how is it promotion then? Like, I don't know. I think it was just some fucking dumbass that dressed up like Bigfoot. Probably some dumbass Bigfoot believer that fucking sits there and all they do is fucking watch Finding Bigfoot all day, and they go out in the woods and go squatching and fucking
Watching.
That's probably who they fucking were, and they just wanted to go there to get exposure to say, oh, I do exist and shit, just to fucking back their own fucking agenda. So I think that's what it was. I don't think it was fucking Bray Wyatt. Like, what? Like, I heard some absurd things about Bray Wyatt when we were looking at all those rumors that people were making about him coming back. But my God, like, at least people weren't saying he was a fucking Sasquatch. Like, Jesus Christ. But, nevertheless, after that fucking threw me off. Fucking, then Matt Riddle comes out, and it seems that his trunks are just getting smaller and smaller every time I see him. And am I the only one who's gotten like this weird vibe since Riddle came back? Like,
Yeah.
something just seems off about it. Like, he was suspended and shit for drug use or whatever it was, drug violation, and now he came back on the Raw after Mania, but it's just felt weird since he's been back, because he's just been kind of forced into this whole Kevin and Sammy versus the Bloodline storyline, and for no real reason.
I genuinely think he was only put in this storyline so they can make Sammy and Kevin look strong and not take the pin.
Yeah, probably. Honestly, I could see it.
Because, like, genuinely, I don't think Matt Riddle is going to be as over as he was since all the cocaine stuff and
Yeah.
thrills and fucking dating a porn star and then cheating on a porn star and then still dating that porn star. I don't.
The only way I could see him being over like that again is whenever the fuck Randy Orton comes back, if he even comes back. Honestly, because
apparently, from what there's actually been an update on that. Apparently, people have said he's gonna come back. He's definitely for sure gonna come back, but it's just a long ways away.
Yeah, because all these wrestling news sites, I swear, like, for the Royal Rumble, they're like, oh, Randy Orton's going to return, and they didn't. And then they're like, oh, Randy Orton is going to return at WrestleMania. Oh, Randy Orton is going to return on the Raw after WrestleMania. Oh, Randy Orton is going to return at Backlash. And it's like they report that, and then the next thing I see is like, oh, Randy Orton's still going to be out another year with injury. I'm like, well, make up your fucking mind, man. Like, is Randy coming back, or is he still hurt? Like, make up your fucking mind.
Well, from what I heard, that's an actual update from Randy. So.
Those motherfuckers, like, not the ones you're talking about, the ones I seen, those motherfuckers probably didn't even talk to Randy. They probably just sat there and said, oh, you know it would be funny if fucking Dave Meltzer and fucking Wrestle Talk and What Culture and fucking Sean's View and all these fucking motherfuckers probably thought to themselves, oh, you know it would be funny. Let's say Randy Orton's coming back just to get everybody's hopes up. Fuck you. Anyway, so this six-man tag match started off slow, kind of slow pace. This kind of felt like because the Bad Bunny match was so fucking hot, like, and the crowd was so fucking overexcited for that match that this match ended up becoming kind of like a cool down match.
Yeah.
Especially at first, because the crowd like really died down after the Bad Bunny match. And it started off slow, and then eventually it started picking up steam because then they started adding more layers to this bloodline story to where really the story doesn't really involve Kevin and Sammy that much anymore. Because now the angle that they're taking at this story is they're showing the cracks in the bloodline, and the Usos and Solo were acting like they were going to turn on each other. And, like, Solo just looked like he had, like, that he did not want to team up with the Usos. And he had, like, this weird vibe where, like, every time Solo would tag in, like, him and the Usos would look at each other like something was just off. And, like, or Solo, like, would tag himself in when they didn't want tagged out, and then they would get mad at him for tagging himself in. And there was one part where he tagged himself in on Jey Uso, and Jey was like, what are you doing? And he got mad and tagged himself back in. He was like, no, this is me right now, you get the hell out. And then it even got to a point where towards the end, fucking Solo was sitting here hitting Samoan spikes on people, and then he grabbed Jey Uso, and he was about to Samoan spike Jey Uso, and the crowd fucking started going crazy. And Jey Uso was like, he was like, I'm your brother, and you're really gonna do that to me. Like, they're really starting to build these layers of this story of eventually the bloodline imploding. And I really enjoy how they're doing this story. This, honestly, this entire bloodline story, ever since it started, it might be one, maybe not the greatest wrestling story ever told, but very close to being one of the greatest wrestling stories ever told. Especially in the modern era of wrestling, nothing even comes close to what they've done for this storyline, and just the amount of time and effort that they put into it. It has so many twists and turns that you never know where it's going to go, and everybody's so invested in this storyline. It is insane.
Yeah.
But so basically they teased Solo turning on the Usos, and who knows what's going to happen with the bloodline. But the match itself was alright. Like, Sammy, Kevin, and Riddle didn't really add much to the match. They kind of just used Sammy as, like, the Usos, Jey Uso's like, oh, this is all your fault, Sammy, this is all your fault, like, whatever. I mean, honestly, there's not much more they can do with Kevin and Sammy and the Usos, because they had that blow-off at WrestleMania. That was it. That was the moment. They defeated the Usos, and that was their moment. Like, there's not really much else you can do when it comes to Sammy and Kevin and the Usos, because they already had that blow-off moment to their feud. So now this kind of seems like, and I believe, Austin, you're the one that said this when you said that you felt like they did this match only so they could get the bloodline on the card, which it did kind of feel like that.
Yeah, that's legit the only reason that they could have even done that, really, truly.
Yeah. And it's not to say that it was a bad six-man tag, because it wasn't a bad match by any means, but it just really did not feel like it was necessary for this match to be on the pay-per-view. I feel like you could have achieved the same thing if this match had it been on a Raw or a SmackDown. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I get.
Truly, that's like the only way they could have got the Bloodline on the card.
Yeah.
Truly.
And then also, at this point, now the Bloodline won this match, like, fucking Kevin and Sammy are gonna be on Raw, and the Bloodline is gonna be on SmackDown. So where does the Bloodline go from here? Who do they face next? Honestly, and then who do Sammy and Kevin face next for the tag titles as well? I'm interested to see what's gonna happen there. But then also at the same time,
Somebody like fucking Alpha Academy or some shit. Definitely gonna be somebody like that.
but I'm confused because Kevin and Sammy got drafted to Raw, right? And
Yeah.
but they're the unified tag team champions. So does that mean that they could still go to SmackDown?
I would assume so.
Because then they did this whole part of the draft where they had people as free agents, which, by the way, if you didn't know, for some odd reason, they made Omas a free agent, so Omas can literally do whatever the fuck he wants to do. I don't know why they did that, but
Fucking Von Wagner and Zion Quinn for some reason.
yeah, like, I understand Brock being a free agent because, I mean, you're not going to tell that man where he can go. You're not going to be like, oh, Brock, you're only going to stay on Raw. If Brock wants to go to a fucking show, he's going, and no one's stopping him. I understand that. But, fucking, I mean, I kind of get Omos a little bit, just because, oh, he's the giant, and no one's going to tell the giant where he can and can't go. I kind of get that, but then when you get people like Von Wagner and Zion Quinn, like, what kind of fucking pull does Zion Quinn have to be like, oh, I want to, if I can go here, I'll go where I want. You're fucking Zion Quinn.
I'm pretty sure fucking Dolph Ziggler was also one of those people that are free agents too. And it's like, why?
I don't know. It's very, very weird. We'll talk about it more when we cover the draft in another video, but, very, very strange. But nevertheless, the Bloodline won the match because Solo was the one that won the match because he did a Samoan spike to Riddle and pinned Riddle. And so Riddle took the pin, which is what Austin fucking said. So that way Sammy and Kevin, Sammy and Kevin, Sammy and Kevin don't have to take the pin here.
That sounds like an awful fucking 80s sitcom.
Sammy and Kevy. Oh my god. I don't know why, I just randomly thought of this video I found once where it was called Kevin and Sammy, and they made like a Drake and Josh parody but with Kevin and Sammy. I don't know why that just popped in my head.
Imagine a Full House parody with Kevin and Sammy.
Why Full House?
Because that's like the most cheesiest fucking like sitcom I could think of.
Said everywhere you look. Jesus Christ. But someone should make like one of those AI things of like how would fucking WWE wrestlers look as an 80s sitcom and put the fucking Full House music to it. Cuz I've seen people do that with like cartoon shows and shit. Cuz like I saw one, it was like, oh, Family Guy character. I told an AI to make Family Guy characters as an 80s sitcom, and then they fucking put the Full House theme to it. And it actually looked extremely fucking accurate, which is kind of scary.
Yeah, that AI shit's fucking weird.
Yeah. But the Bloodline wins this match. I don't know where this goes from here. Because now, after this show, the draft is now in effect. Starting on Monday, the draft is officially going to be in effect. So, but we got one more match to talk about. The main event of Backlash, which was the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes versus the Beast Brock Lesnar. And we'll start this off by saying, if you would have told me back when we started doing these reviews in 2021, like, Austin, if you would have said, like, oh, one day we're going to get a Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar match, I would have told you were crazy. But now here we
Yeah.
are. I never thought that I would see a Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar match in my life. But here we are. And, like, I was saying, because Cody came out first, right? And just the reaction that this man got coming out, and just the way his entrance feels, and the atmosphere of when Cody comes out, and the music playing, and the pyro, and the crowd reaction, and just the presentation of Cody Rhodes with the whole American Nightmare character. Like, honestly, and me and Austin both covered AEW back in 2021 when Cody was still there. And I watched way back in 2019 when Cody had that match with Dustin Rhodes at the first Double or Nothing. And I've seen him be this American Nightmare character in AEW throughout the time he was there. And Austin has as well. And
Mm-hmm.
it's just, I said this in Cody's entrance, like, when you look at the presentation of just everything that they've done for Cody Rhodes since he came back last year, like, it is just insane to me, just the drastic change from the AEW version of the American Nightmare to the WWE version. It is just insane to me how much bigger of a star Cody feels like. Like,
Yeah.
he went from being a fucking EVP of AEW that people were calling him Cody H, and he was just putting himself over all the talent, and people started hating him, and he went from that to, he goes back to WWE, and he just turned into this red hot fucking megastar. Like, it is crazy. He is probably one of, if not the most popular wrestlers in the business right now. It is insane to me, because when we watched him in 2021, I would have never thought Cody Rhodes would be this fucking popular, that he'd be this fucking over, or that any of this would be happening. And it's just, people can say what they want about AEW. I'm not going to go on a whole thing about AEW, but people can say what they want about how good they think AEW is, but the simple fact of how Cody was there compared to how Cody is here in WWE just goes to show that no matter what people want to say about AEW, they just cannot make somebody into a megastar like this. No matter who it is, no matter how hard they try, they just can't. They just don't have the ability to do that. And it sucks because AEW does have some good talent there, and it's just a shame that they'll never get to this level. Because, like, honestly, Austin, imagine how MJF is champion in AEW right now. Imagine how much more of a mega heel he would be if he was WWE champion right now with this kind
I
of
know.
presentation.
That's why
Like,
I genuinely hope when 2024 comes, he actually signs with WWE, because this isn't it with AEW. This really ain't it, bro.
like, you know, MJF says he's the biggest star in the business, and I get he says that for his character, but when you look at MJF, who's the top guy in AEW right now, and you look at Cody, who, outside of Roman Reigns, all things considered, he's the top guy in WWE right now. It's completely drastic. MJF doesn't feel like a megastar. Like, he doesn't, you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't feel like he's the biggest star in the business. But Cody Rhodes feels that way, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't want to sit here and just shit on AEW or whatever, because, I mean, we do that enough on a weekly basis, but, like, I just, I just would like to imagine, like, how many more people in AEW would be so much better off if they were in WWE. And I know AEW fans will be like, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. AEW is the greatest thing," and blah 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 blah, and whatever. But honestly, like, it is such a drastic thing. Like, and if you don't believe me, all you fans, AEW fans, if you don't believe me, look at Cody Rhodes in AEW, and then go watch a Cody Rhodes match in AEW, any Cody Rhodes match that you want, and then watch Cody's match with Roman at Mania, and you try to tell me that Cody was on a higher level in AEW or anywhere close to what he is now. You go ahead and try to tell me that, because you'll look like a fucking dumbass. But nevertheless, I don't want to go on about AEW because it's already 3 in the morning, and I just wanted to say that because I notice things like that. I notice, like, just how fucking much Cody has drastically changed just by fucking saying, you know what, I helped make AEW and I helped make this new company, and I'm fulfilled on that aspect. And fuck you, Tony Khan. I'm going back to WWE to achieve what I wanted to do all along. And it's crazy what has happened since then. But nevertheless, Cody is on a whole new level with this run that he's on. And I really hope that they do the right thing by giving him the title, because it would be one of the biggest missed opportunities ever if they don't give Cody a world title at this point. You can't not give this man a world title with how insanely fucking popular he is right now. There's no way. You can't not give Cody Rhodes a title this fucking year. And if it's the
Yeah.
world heavyweight title, whatever, I don't care. You have to put some kind of title on this man, or it's going to be a massive missed opportunity. Like we were saying in the WrestleMania review, we thought that was the moment, but I just really hope that they do that at some point. But nevertheless, Brock
Especially if they
Lesnar. Oh, go ahead.
if they really want Roman to hold that, from what I'm hearing, until September of 2024.
Why specifically
Bro,
September?
apparently that would break Hogan's reign, like, longest reign. So
Do
he'd be
they
like, I
really
think
think
maybe.
people care about Hulk Hogan's title reign anymore? I mean, for Christ's sake,
I
they
don't
fucking
know.
blacklisted Hogan for years and took him out of the Hall of Fame. So, like, I don't know why they
That's
care.
what I'm hearing. That is what they are planning on doing, which I hope not. I really hope not, because I really don't want to get tired of Roman. And after the Bloodline storyline, like, especially because I don't know how long that's gonna last. Now that we're seeing all this, like, tension, like,
Hmm.
I don't think I can go through another fucking year and a half. I don't think I
Like,
can.
honestly, what I would see happening, at least if this was me booking this. I mean, obviously, if it was me booking it, I would have gave it to Cody at Mania. But nevertheless, but what I would do from here is they're gonna have the bloodline implode. It's going to happen at some point. Otherwise, they wouldn't be doing all this tension. So I think what's gonna happen is that eventually the bloodline is gonna implode to where it completely crumbles, and Roman doesn't have the security of the bloodline around him anymore. And I feel like that is going to be the time when he loses the title, when he doesn't have the bloodline with him anymore and he's on his own. Then I feel like that's when he'll finally lose the title. But I'm just hoping that they don't try to drag it out too long, because unfortunately people might start to lose interest, and you don't want to lose interest in your biggest asset.
Yeah. I did hear apparently Roman's next big opponent, well, his next opponent in general was handpicked by Triple H to be carrying Cross. So I'm interested
Really?
in that. Yeah, I'm interested in that.
I don't know what the fuck just happened to my. You know what's funny about that? Fucking, I've been seeing all these people on Twitter talking about Cross and saying that, like, they're like, oh, Cross gets no reaction. Cross's return has been a flop and all this shit. And then I seen this clip from SmackDown last night where I'm not sure what he did on SmackDown, but him and Scarlett came out and the whole crowd was fucking chanting "Fall and Pray," and they were chanting it pretty fucking loudly, and they seemed to really like fucking Cross and Scarlett's entrance. So I don't know what these people are talking about, because he seemed pretty fucking over to me. Like, I mean, I'll be honest, I do think his return could have been handled better than it has been, because he hasn't really felt super important or like a big threat as he should. Like, he should be treated that way, like he was in
I
NXT,
feel
but
I feel the reason that people don't think that, and the reason he's kind of fallen a little flat, and I will admit he has a little bit. I feel the reason is they need to let he can do a promo occasionally, but they need to let Scarlett take the lead like they did in NXT.
yeah.
They let Scarlett take the lead, do all that shit, all the mind games and everything, and have him be the badass who just kicks fucking ass,
Hmm.
and then says barely anything besides TikTok or the occasional promo. I think that will like actually make like people people will be more excited for Cross. I feel.
You know what's funny to me? The fact that we're sitting here having this conversation when I remember back in 2021 just constantly hearing you scream about how Cross was on Raw Fallout and how Scarlett wasn't even there. It is just funny to think back on that and all this time later now where like they're actually kind of doing Cross how he should be, and it's just like
Yeah,
funny now that people are saying like that Cross is a flop and this and that, but it's funny looking back on how he was in 2021, and it was just so much worse than like honestly, people complain now, but Cross could still be like he was in 2021. Okay.
yeah. If
With
you really want to bitch and moan, just bitch
need I
and moan about
remind you of the
something.
Gimp mask?
Not to get mask. Even did you see USA fucking tweeted about that?
Yeah. Oh, they fucking took a straight shot at him, bro.
Yeah, they're legit like, because I think he went to SmackDown again, correct? If I'm correct.
Yeah, him and
And
Scarlett got drafted to SmackDown.
they were like they sit there on Twitter and they were like, this is sad to see, but the last time he was on here he had a get mat. So and
Yeah.
I was just like, why you gotta bring it up, man? Like, why you gotta bring that shit up?
So, I guess let's get to this main event now because it's almost 3:30 in the morning and I want to go to bed. Um, so after Cody comes out, Brock Lesnar comes out wearing the same old gear, whatever. I think at this point Brock's just kind of just doing it just cause like I don't think Brock's in it for like winning championships or even winning matches anymore. I think Brock's just doing it cuz one, I think he's just had been having, especially since came back in 2021 and started doing this cowboy Brock character. I think Brock is strictly just doing this because he's just having a lot of fun doing it. I don't really think he gives a shit whether he wins or not anymore. Um, which I don't mind that, but he is a heel again. Uh, so I'm not really sure where Brock Lesnar goes from here. But so Brock comes out, and then before Brock gets in the ring, Cody hits him with an outside dive, and Cody starts hitting him with chairs, and he's wailing on Brock with these chairs too. Brock had like welts all over his back, and fucking they get in the ring, and the match officially starts, and Cody's trying to go after Brock, but obviously Brock, the more stronger the two, overpowers Cody. When I tell you, Brock was folding this man with German suplexes, like, and he was throwing this man across the ring, like, just absolutely, just no need to even do that, but he just did it because Brock Lesnar doesn't give a fuck. And he was just fucking Cody up, bro. And most of the match, Cody was getting his ass beat. I'm not even gonna lie to you. And then Cody started fighting back. He kept doing disaster kicks, and he was nailing Brock with Cody cutters. Did he even attempt a crossroad on Brock at all?
He hit 2.
Yeah, he did. I just now remembered that. Yeah, because he did the one and then picked him back up and did, yeah. You're right. So this match, I will say, ended kind of, not abruptly, but you could tell that they kind of like were like, all right, this needs to like end, because basically what happened was Cody removed the top turnbuckle pad, and by the way, Brock grabbed him and German suplexed the fuck out of him, and that turnbuckle pad went flying into the crowd. So Brock went to run at Cody, and Cody moved, and Brock went fucking face first into that exposed turnbuckle. And now, we've seen this spot a lot of times before, and the wrestlers typically like to blade when they hit the turnbuckle pad, the exposed turnbuckle, right? Well, not in this scenario, because when Brock hits this fucking turnbuckle, the second he hits it, immediately, like, no camera cuts, no nothing, no time, like, oh, maybe Brock, like, put his hands over his face and blade, nothing, no, absolutely nothing. Soon as he connected with that turnbuckle, immediately blood started gushing out of his forehead, bro.
It was bad.
Yeah, he got a nasty gash on his forehead, bro. It just kept pouring and pouring out. Like, and within a couple seconds, like, I mean, we already know how red Brock gets when he wrestles, but his face was just covered in blood, and it was like getting all over his chest. It was getting all over Cody Rhodes when he was trying to wrestle him. Like, it was bad, bro. I don't think that was planned either.
No,
like,
there's no way.
Like, I think what maybe was supposed to happen is he's supposed to, like, ding his head on the turnbuckle and then maybe get, like, a crossroads or something. But he did a lot more than ding his fucking head. This motherfucker sliced his head open, and it was bleeding fucking everywhere. And fucking... But, he's Brock Lesnar. He doesn't give a fuck. Because, he takes the 2 crossroads. This man still kicks out. He don't care. Cody tries to go for another one. Brock said, nah. Hits him with a fucking F5. Doesn't give a shit. Cody kicks out. Then Brock says, you know what? I'm going to hit you with the Kimura lock. And fucking...
And at this point, when he's got the Kimura lock in, you could tell Cody's talking to him, and he's like, this is what I think happened. I'm pretty sure Cody started talking to him. He's like, bro, we need to call it audible. We need to fucking end this match. Like, you're bleeding bad.
Yeah. Like, he gets him in the Kimura lock, and Brock didn't have it in all the way because he didn't have his legs fully wrapped around. And so he's trying to get Cody into submission, and then Cody, like, shifts his body weight to where he like rolled forward, which caused Brock Lesnar's shoulders to be on the mat, and then the referee counted 1, 2, 3, and Cody beats Brock Lesnar, and he fucking motherfucker hightailed it out of that ring, and Brock got up and he was like, what the fuck? And he didn't fucking seem too happy about it. But yeah, so they had Cody Rhodes beat Brock Lesnar, which I was like, wow, I did not think that he was gonna beat Brock, but Cody beat Brock Lesnar. And fucking what was even funnier was Cody fucking hightailed it out of there. And then the referee, bro, soon as that happened, the referee fucking dipped out of the ring, bro. He fucking, as soon as Brock got up, that referee dipped. And this motherfucker could not even be bothered, man. He looked at Brock and he threw the towel to him. This man was not even about to try to help Brock. He wasn't going anywhere near that man.
You've seen what happened in the past, bro. Like,
Yeah. But so Brock like starts wiping the blood, and once he wipes the blood, you could finally see like the actual gash that's in his forehead. It was about like it kind of in the center of his forehead, like almost right above where his eyelids are. It's like right in that area, and you could see how like deep the gash was from it. And as soon as he wiped it off, you could just see more blood coming out and coming out. It was nasty.
yeah.
And Brock was sitting there and he was just he was looking angry. He looked like he wanted to fucking rip somebody in half. And Cody Rhodes celebrated on the stage, and that was how Backlash went off the air. Overall,
Yep.
from start to finish, I'll give my opinion based on me watching the whole show. From start to finish, honestly, Backlash, I will say, was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Because, you know, usually Backlashes, especially the past couple years, we've seen it's mainly been rematches from WrestleMania, and just not like a lot of effort goes into Backlashes. But this one was actually very well done. I really did enjoy watching it. I had a fun time watching it with my friends. And shouts out to Miguel and Tyrese. And just overall had a really good time watching this show, even though some of the outcomes were a little meh, and you know there's some moments that are kind of overall I really did enjoy the show a lot. One, I hope that they have signed Carlito to some kind of contract, because I want that man to fucking wrestle, bro. That man is
Yeah.
jacked. He is in shape. He looks like he's ready to fucking go. So I hope that they bring Carlito back for some amount of time, more than they did last time.
I would hope so.
And secondly, match of the night, definitely Bad Bunny and Damian Priest. Moment of the night for me, Carlito returning. Could you imagine, Austin? I just want to say this real quick. Could you imagine, like, how much more hype would it have been had Carlito not returned in 2021, and this was like his official return since like 2010? How much more hype do you think it would have been?
Probably a little bit more, but not as hype, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, regardless, it was fucking Puerto Rico, so they were hype regardless. But
Oh yeah.
fucking, you could have. It didn't matter. As long as you from Puerto Rico, they were cheering you, bro. You could have fucking sent the Shining Stars out there and they would have got a standing ovation, bro. Like, but,
Bro,
yeah.
imagine like the Shining Stars showed up and they just like challenged Sammy and Kevin to a title match.
Honestly, bro, if it was on this show and they did Sammy and Kevin versus the Shining Stars, this crowd would have fucking loved every second of it. That would have probably been the most over the Shining Stars would ever be in their careers.
Bro, imagine they fucking just sat there. They didn't bring out the Shining Stars. They brought out the fucking Los Matadores with El Torito.
That would have been the most over they would have ever been. They would never have gotten chanted like that before, I'll tell you that much. But yeah, so I enjoyed the show from start to finish. A couple things I didn't like, but overall really enjoyed this show. I hope that Night of Champions is going to be good. I'm curious to see who the new world champion is going to be, so that'll be interesting. But yeah, what did you think of Backlash from what you watched of it?
From what I watched, I thought it was pretty good.
But yeah, that was your Backlash 2023 review, guys. It actually wasn't honestly that long of a show either. It was only about 3 hours long. Honestly, like, it did not feel long at all. It actually felt pretty short. Like, nothing felt like, in the matches, none of it felt like it was dragging on too long. Everything felt like it had a good pace. Like, it was just overall a good show, honestly. And, especially with all the fucking AEW we've been covering lately, it's nice to have an actual good show for once. So we should definitely take these good shows while we can get them, because there's still so much AEW left to cover.
I know.
But until then, this has been your Backlash review. I'm assuming we'll be talking about Night of Champions when that happens. And also we will be talking about we'll be doing a video about the draft as well. And look out for more AEW reviews coming, because there's 3 more Dynamites, there's Dark and Dark Elevation, and there's Double or Nothing still coming your way. So don't worry, AEW's not going anywhere. But that being said, thank you guys for watching. This has been Backlash, and we will see you next time for another review.
Peace.